And that's part of the plan, too, okay? Communitarian law is the most confusing thing you'll ever try to figure out. It's hard enough to figure out their philosophy, but their law is amazing. So private property rights are gone under communitarianism. They don't exist.
So it can be said in law that you do have, you have property rights, but you have to conform to these various standards. And presumably those standards can be as onerous as you like. And if you don't conform, then to say that you have property rights is just purely academic. You, in fact, do not have any rights.
No, and see, what we have to understand for me as an American is property rights under our Bill of Rights aren't the same as what you get in the UN Charter. Ours come from God, our Creator, and no man can take them away. A man didn't give them to us. A man can't take them away. And I can't give away my rights in perpetuity, We can't even take them from the future generation under our Bill of Rights. But the UN Charter and human rights, you have to be a responsible person in order to keep your rights. There's a clause. Yes, you have all these rights, but if you're not a good person, then you don't have them anymore.
That sounds so nice, doesn't it? Rights and responsibilities, but that's so deceptive because it depends how that's read. It can be read as you have rights and we all have responsibilities, so there's a kind of social expectation that one carries out responsibilities. But if you make it a legal basis to that and say, if you don't actually carry out these responsibilities, then that removes your rights, that's appalling.
Yes, that is what they think. The good people are going to get to live in the communities, the town or the city that you live in. And what they mean by good is someone who serves the community when they're told. Because all of the programs I was looking at in Seattle, the data that they were gathering on the individual citizens, the private citizens living in privately owned property, they were assuming that the community had a right to know everything about the people in the homes and that they were going to help everyone in the homes to see if maybe they had an alcohol problem or a drug problem or they yelled at their kids too much or they had some kind of mental problem that they needed to have an intervention.
To see to it that people will do what needs doing, we would need an enormous army of these. In fact, we have already, but even larger ones. And then we come to the famous question, who will guard the guardians? So we may have to bring all the Canadians to watch all our cops, and who's going to watch the Canadians? So we're much, much better off when the community, through these sometimes long, difficult deliberations, decides how much environmental protection is correct. What should we do if people don't get vaccinated?
There were a lot of videos about kids going to the doctor, vlog channels that did very well. And sure enough, we start to see these strange computer videos of cartoon characters receiving injections. Not only are we looking at gummy bears and babies and Dora the Explorer and other cartoon characters receiving injections in the ass, human beings have determined that they can manipulate that algorithm in real life. In what might be one of the most disturbing videos I have seen on YouTube so far, an actual human being, a man and a woman, hold down a little girl and give her an injection. Now the video title and description are written with the Cyrillic alphabet, and I'm not entirely sure, but it might be Russian. When you translate the title, it says, Anyuta is crying, sick, fever. We do real injections in the ass, doing shots in the ass. And the video starts with dolls and music, because this video is aimed at children. Now, I'm not going to do a video capture of this because I find it too disturbing. And if you want to search for this stuff, by all means, go and do it. But we're seeing something that I find to be absolutely terrifying, in that after our memes decay, a computer will pick up the scraps, the tiny fragments of these, mash them together. And this is why we see Spider-Man, Hulk. It's why we see Teen Titans dressed as Spider-Man. Because computers are just mashing these ideas together. They're picking up the waste of our memes, mashing them into a ball, and feeding it to kids who can't sift through this, who don't have the choice, who are just forced to watch it. And this is where it gets truly terrifying. Humans, adults, see the success and replicate it in real life. The algorithmically generated videos are doing their best to manipulate the YouTube algorithm in an attempt to force these videos to play in front of small children because parents aren't paying attention. In response, human beings, seeing the success of these strange videos, have decided that they can become powerful, they can make money, and be successful if they do the same thing. This is a different kind of AI apocalypse that I think not a lot of people are talking about. A future where the computers just mash as much together as they can to make us happy, and where humans are happy to replicate these behaviors. If we allow computers to mix and match our cultural ideas and memes, and then we allow ourselves to ingest this and then replicate it, our culture is going to become a random, chaotic, and fragmented version of what it once was.
Once we have these things in place, the more we can rely on our mutual understanding and informal enforcement, the better we are all off. And finally, the last element of communitarian thinking is the notion that we have individual rights. Indeed, they are what makes America so unique, a strong, strong commitment to individual rights. But rights go with social responsibilities. But we cannot have one without the other.
But the UN Charter and human rights, you have to be a responsible person in order to keep your rights. There's a